You wake up. Your phone lights up. You see messages, reminders, unfinished to-do lists. Before your feet even touch the floor, the pressure has already arrived. The world whispers, "What will you achieve today?" And without thinking, you start measuring your worth by how much you can do. This is the culture of constant productivity, where rest is seen as laziness, where slowing down feels like failure, where even joy needs to be efficient. But let me tell you something that might sound radical. You don't have to be productive all the time. Your worth is not tied to how much you accomplish. Your value does not disappear on the days you do less, or nothing at all. The obsession with being productive isn't just about work. It seeps into every part of our lives. We try to optimize our routines, our meals, our hobbies. We track steps, calories, moods, habits. We turn every corner of existence into a metric. But what happens when every moment feels like a performance? What happens when silence starts to feel like a missed opportunity? When rest becomes another checkbox on a self-care checklist? You start to feel exhausted. You start to feel disconnected from yourself. You lose the ability to be, not as a means to an end, but just because being is enough. Sometimes, doing nothing is doing something important. Sometimes, rest is the most productive thing you can offer your mind and your body. Because here's the truth. You are a human being, not a machine. Machines are made to run. You were made to feel, to pause, to wander, to wonder, to exist beyond output. Think of a field. If it's harvested over and over without rest, it goes barren. No time to breathe, no time to regenerate. We are the same. Even nature knows the wisdom of seasons. Growth, stillness, bloom, decay, and bloom again. But we forget that we too are allowed to have seasons. We chase eternal spring, always blooming, always producing, and we punish ourselves for feeling like winter. So let this be a gentle reminder. Your rest is not something to be earned. You don't have to reach the edge of burnout to deserve a break. You are allowed to rest simply because you're alive. Simply because you are. When you rest, you reconnect. You remember that joy isn't something you check off a list. It's something that meets you in the quiet, in the softness, in the space between all the doing. You don't need a reason to sit in stillness. You don't need permission to say, "Not today." You don't need to feel guilty for choosing peace over pressure. Productivity will always have a place, but it doesn't have to own you. It doesn't have to define you. So when the world pushes you to go faster, go deeper instead. When it tells you to do more, ask yourself what you truly need. When it demands hustle, listen for your own voice beneath the noise. Because your life is not a race. Your presence is not a product. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are becoming. And sometimes, becoming looks a lot like doing nothing at all. So breathe. Be still. Be here. You are enough. Even when you're resting. Especially then. And maybe no one ever told you that before. Maybe you grew up in a household where worth came from output, where love felt conditional on grades, chores, performance. Maybe you learned to equate being busy with being good. So now, when life slows down, you panic. You feel like you're wasting time, but maybe what you're wasting is not time. Maybe it's your own capacity to feel whole without a checklist. Let that sink in. You are allowed to exist without proving yourself. You don't need to justify your rest with burnout. You don't need to collapse before you allow yourself a pause. In fact, let's try something right now. Put your phone down. Close your eyes for a few seconds. Inhale slowly. Exhale fully. Feel the air as it enters your lungs, without trying to measure it, optimize it, or attach meaning to it. Just breathe. Just be. This is not wasted time. This is not weakness. This is presence. The kind of presence that lets your nervous system unwind. The kind of presence that reminds your inner child, you don't have to keep running to be loved. You are lovable even when you're still, even when you're soft, even when you don't accomplish a single thing today. And in a world that celebrates hustle, choosing to rest becomes a quiet revolution, a way of reclaiming your humanness, a way of saying, I am not here to be impressive. I am here to be real. So let's begin again, not with a list, but with a breath, not with urgency, but with gentleness. not with performance, but with presence. And while you're at it, notice how the world doesn't end when you pause. Notice how your heart keeps beating, the sun still rises, and the people who truly love you, they don't disappear when you rest. In fact, they might come closer. Because now, you're present, you're listening. You're more than a blur of motion and noise. And maybe you start to remember small joys, the kind that aren't productive or purposeful, but simply beautiful. Like staring out the window, watching shadows dance on the wall, sitting on the floor and doing absolutely nothing. These moments won't go viral. They won't earn praise or likes. But they will return you to yourself. They will whisper, "This is also life." You are not missing out when you slow down. You're coming home. To your breath. To your body. To your truth. And home isn't where you get things done. Home is where you get to be fully you. So if today feels slow, let it be slow. If today feels quiet, let it be quiet. If you're tired, let yourself rest. Because life doesn't need to be a constant sprint. It can also be a soft walk, a long pause, a gentle hum, and maybe, just maybe, that's where the real living begins. So the next time you feel the pressure to push, to produce, to prove, pause. Notice where that pressure is coming from. Is it your voice or someone else's expectation? Is it grounded in truth or fear? Ask yourself, what would it look like to honor my energy today? Maybe it's a deep dive into your passion. Or maybe it's a nap. Maybe it's deleting 5 emails or writing one heartfelt message to a friend. Productivity doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes, it looks like quietly tending to what matters most. And if you still feel guilty for not doing more, remind yourself, guilt is not a reliable measure of value. You don't need to feel guilty for choosing peace. You don't need to explain your boundaries, your pauses, your softness. Because this life, your life, is not an exam. It's not a test you can fail. It's a series of breaths, of moments, of choices. Some bold, some subtle, some invisible to the outside world, but deeply felt within you. And if those choices lead you to more gentleness, more presence, more ease, that is enough. So keep returning, to rest, to stillness, to your breath. Keep choosing to be, not because you earned it, but because you were always allowed to. And when you do, when you fully allow yourself to rest, you will realize you never needed to be more. You only needed to remember you were always enough.